So, okay, fantastic. Thanks for that, Oluwaseun. Precious Scholar Day. So, what I want you to do before we dive into the main meat of our session today, if you know somebody who has been trying to land a job, we are almost half year into 2026. They've been trying to land a job, they've been applying to jobs, and they can't get jobs. Get them into this session. All right. So, copy the link, send it to them, get them into this session. We'll be having an amazing time today. And I'm going to walk you through a journey, the journey of somebody who started like you. They joined a session like this. They got into a program. They completed the program. And within the space of 4 to 5 months, 4 months, they were able to transition from a stay-at-home mom to a full-blown NHS information analyst with visa sponsorship. All right. How can you do the same and how can you land jobs within the tech ecosystem? I'll be sharing that with you today. So get somebody who is not here into our session and we'll dive into the main meat. Okay. So let's go ahead and start. And then as others join us, they get, they join us and become a part of the session essentially. Okay. Now, why are we here today? We're here to discuss an interesting topic and it's a question and I'll be providing the answer to the questions we have today. Is visa sponsorship still possible in the UK? And how can you get the visa sponsored jobs? All right. So I'm going to walk you through how this is possible, and we're going to make it interactive. I'd like for you to also share your ideas, share your thoughts, and we get to interact. There's so many noise right now about immigration. People are scared, they're confused, what exactly is going on, and you don't know how to make a decision. You don't know what to do. There is panic. But whenever there is panic and there is chaos, facts are your friends. You have to replace that panic with facts. Okay. That's your greatest advantage. So why are we here today? Apart from just talking about the topic I've shared with you, we're here for three major reasons. And because we have different categories of people, we have number one category. The first category are the people who are physically exhausted. So for those of you that currently have a physically demanding job, you are exhausted. You are tired of the long shifts. It's emotionally draining for you. You want a role where you no longer have to pay the price because you want to earn a better income. So you spend more time because you want to make more money. So how do you get to that position where you can work from home? You have a hybrid job where you work some days from home, you go to the office. How do you get to that level? And how do you get to that position? How do you leave that physically draining job today? So we have that's one category of you in this session today. The second category are those of you who are currently under pressure, silently under pressure, simply because there is visa uncertainty. You don't know the next step. You are done with your masters. You are a dependent. You're the primary applicant who you came to the country with. The visa is almost expiring. You don't know what to do. All right. You may have to leave the country depending on where you are. You're in the US, you are in the UK, you're in Canada. You may have to leave the UK after sacrificing so much. The thousands of pounds you paid for school, the thousands of pounds you paid to relocate. And now there's a high chance that you go back home and you get nothing for the investment you've put in. So you're not just looking for a job. You are securing your future. You are looking for opportunities to secure your future. And we have another category. This category of people are scared to start from zero. You have 5 years experience, 10 years experience back home in your home country. You've worked in the banking industry as a senior banking officer. You've worked in logistics. You have experience, but you feel that if you get started in a new career path, you would have to start from zero. Your past experience is wasted. So you don't know what to do with your previous experience and you want a career that will give you more time to spend with your family. That's another category. And I'll be sharing with you how we can get you to that position that you need to be. Okay. So before we get deeper into our session today, I want you to know that this session is not just your typical webinar, online session, and all of that. For many people here today, this session is about survival. It's about stability. It's about growth. And it's about creating a better future for yourself and for your family. Okay. So 4 things I'll show you how to do today. Number one is I'll show you how to convert your current experience to a job within the tech ecosystem within 6 months, and jobs that come with visa sponsorship. So remember, our topic has the question, is visa sponsorship still possible today? So I'll show you how to take your current experience, your past experience, how to convert that into a job within the tech ecosystem. I'd also show you how to learn the skills required. So when you decide on the career path you want to move into, one of the biggest mistakes, I made the mistake myself about a decade ago when I was transitioning. And that's the mistake of not knowing what to learn and how to learn. I'll show you the best way to learn so you get the skills you need. You know how to do the job on day one when you eventually get that job. And of course, I'll also show you how to gain work experience. Sponsorship is more difficult than ever. Okay. You want to get sponsorship in 2026, even last year, 2025. It's different. And this is simply because UK employers today are looking at potential employees not as employees anymore, but as investments, because the cost of sponsoring you has gone up. So they're not going to take a chance on you if all you have are just skills. You have a CV that highlights the skills you have and what you can do. You need to have work experience to show them that you've done this job before and you're the best person for that job. Okay. So you're not telling them what you can do. You are showing them what you have done. So I'll show you how to gain that experience to convince any employer anywhere in the world they are the best candidate for that job. And of course, the most important thing is I'll show you how to start today. So it's a no fluff session. We're going to have a practical session where I'll show you where and how to apply to jobs. And we'll use an amazing tool that would help us streamline the job process, from tailoring our CV to generating our cover letters to generating a supporting statement and tracking the jobs you've applied to. I'll show you how to use that tool. And for those of you that stay till the end, I have a big surprise for you. For those that would get access to an amazing tool that will streamline the job application process for you. So if you are here today and all you are doing is applying to conventional jobs on different job boards, and you are competing with somebody who is using or who currently uses the tool I'll be showing you today, there is no way on earth you would get that job ahead of that person. Okay. So you want to have access to this tool. You want to know how to apply to jobs so you get the best possible outcome. All right. Now, a lot of you are joining us for the first time and you're asking, who is Tenalytics? What are we all about? Tenalytics is a leading educational technology company, and our focus is on helping people like you land high-paying jobs within the tech ecosystem. We operate out of Alberta in Canada and also London in the UK. And over the last 5 years, going into 2026, Tenalytics will turn 6 in August 2026. Over the last 5 years, we've been able to help over 4,000 people with no prior experience, no prior knowledge to land their very first jobs within the technology ecosystem. We've helped nurses become pathology data analysts. We've helped healthcare assistants become business data analysts. We've helped bankers become project managers. We've helped medical physicians, GPs become cybersecurity analysts, and so on and so forth. How have we been able to do this, and how can you do the same? I'll share that with you. That's why we're here today. We have over 182 full-time employees dedicated to ensuring that you make that jump, you make that transition, and you have no issues learning all the skills, both the technical and the employability skills to get you the job. And we have access to over 300 industry experts. So you're not working with people that learned on Udemy. You're not working with people that learned on YouTube. You'd work with professionals who are on the job. They've done that job you're trying to get. They're currently in that industry. They currently reside in the country where you want to get the job. And these are the professionals who would help you make that transition. And we focus on areas majorly around the technology ecosystem, from career path in data analytics, health tech. That's the healthcare data analyst, the healthcare business analyst, the healthcare project management, business analysis, data engineering, cybersecurity, DevOps engineering, agile project management, product design, and so many other areas. All right. That's who we are at Analytics. We take you from where you are and we transform you into a professional who can land a high paying job within the technology ecosystem. And I'll do a brief introduction about myself. My name is Adeza Suleiman. I'm a technology expert with over a decade experience cutting across management consulting, data analytics, data engineering, data science. I've walked through the data ecosystem, but it would interest you to know that just like so many of you, I had zero background in technology. I studied industrial chemistry in the university, and my first job out of the university was as a management consultant. So I had done nothing related to technology, but I was able to transition. But it took me so long. It was a painful journey. And the reason why it was painful was because I had no guidance. I did not know what to learn, how to learn. So I made mistakes, so many mistakes. And there are so many people who still make the same mistakes that I made 12 years ago. So my mission today is to walk you through the different pathways that would ensure that you don't make the same mistakes that I made, and you can also transition the way I transitioned and built a career within the technology ecosystem. I'm the founder of Tenalytics and the co-founder of Amdari, two platforms that have helped over 4,000 people to transition into the technology ecosystem with no prior technology background. I currently work as a data analytics and engineering contractor in Canada. I've lived and I've worked in the UK as a data analytics consultant, a customer insight analyst. I worked remotely for companies in the US back when I was in Nigeria. I worked as a data analyst, a management information systems analyst with one of the largest energy conglomerates in sub-Saharan Africa as a management information systems analyst, is one of the largest privately owned energy conglomerates. And I also worked as a data analytics consultant with FITC, owned by the Bankers Committee and the Central Bank of Nigeria. My experience spans across multiple sectors, from sports to automobile to educational technology to energy, financial services, and so on and so forth. My first question to you today. So that's a bit about myself. So I was just like you over 12, 13 years ago, but I made that jump. And over the last 5 years, we've helped over 4,000 people like myself to also make that jump. And you would be the next people who would be helping to make that same jump into the technology ecosystem. But before we get into it proper, this is my question to you. For those of you that are in the UK, and if you're not in the UK, you're joining us from Ireland, you're joining us from somewhere in Europe, you're joining us from the US, trust me, by the end of today's session, you would have been transformed in terms of your mindset, understanding how to land a job and the mistakes you've been making and what you need to do to ensure you get that job in 2026. I want you to type into the chat, yes or no. Is visa sponsorship still possible in the UK? I'd like to see your response. So type into the chat, yes or no. Yes or no. So let's keep it interactive. Okay, let's keep it interactive. Type into the chat, yes or no. Is visa sponsorship still possible in the UK? Yes or no? Yes, yes, yes. I'm seeing a lot of yeses. Precious says hopefully. Tochuku says yes. Feli says yes. I'm a bit skeptical because I'm from Africa. Where you are currently does not matter, Stella. Okay. And I'll show you exactly what you need to do. All right. So we have a lot of yeses, and that's good. Now, one of the things I want to highlight, there are so many strategies, make no mistake, and we cannot cover everything in today's session. Okay. But what I'll do is I'll show you what has worked, the people these strategies worked for, and how they can also work for you. All right. And out of so many things we can cover when it comes to sponsorship, I'll cover one particular aspect, and that's the aspect of applying to jobs within the NHS. Now, the NHS is a lot competitive today compared to before. And for those that apply to jobs, a long time ago, the NHS is competitive. But how can you still land jobs within the NHS and also get visa sponsorship? And are there people that have done this before? And how did they do it? So if you want to land a stable job today in the UK that comes with sponsorship, the NHS is one of the organizations you want to consider. All right. And there's so many reasons why. Part of the reason is simply because the NHS hires the largest number of people within the UK public sector. They are always hiring, and not hiring for roles in healthcare alone, bedside care, nurses, nurse practitioners, nurse associates, nurse assistants, healthcare assistants. No, roles within the technology ecosystem, business architects, healthcare data analysts, pathology data analysts, and so on and so forth. They hire and they always hire. They're the largest employers in the UK, largest employers of talent in the UK within the public sector. And the NHS hires about 1.3 to 1.5 million plus people across the UK. So the question is, it doesn't matter where you are. You are in Scotland, you are in Northern Ireland, you are in England. How do you land a job? How can you land a job with the NHS? And one of the reasons why the NHS is a great place to apply is because a lot of the jobs also come with sponsorship. It comes with stability. It comes with structure. And the pay is fairly good, reasonably good for somebody who wants to get a job that comes with sponsorship. All right. So the question is, are there people that have gotten these jobs? Okay. And are there examples? So I'm going to walk you through so many examples. I'll go through them quickly, and then I'll pick one of them and I'll walk you through their journey and their story, how they started just like you and how they were able to make the transition. And this is where I want you, if you currently have any distraction beside you, I need you to pay very good and very close attention so that you are able to take things away at the end of today's session. All right. Very important. So who are there people that have been able to get this, to get jobs? Absolutely. And let's start with Zulay. Zulay joined our business analysis program. Today, Zulay currently works with the NHS Humber Health Partnership as a project support officer. Project support officer. She got into this role March 2025. Now, what the NHS would do when you get a job is they would reach out when it's time to validate your offer, do a background check, which every organization in the UK would always do this. Okay. So they would send a reference to us to provide, to validate your experience. Does Zulay have the skill to do this job? What's our experience, our strengths and our weaknesses? They reach out to us, and this is a snapshot of what the reference request looks like. Okay, so this is myself. They sent it to me directly. Hello, Adeza Suleiman. Zulay is currently being offered this position. We want to know your opinion regarding her suitability for the post. Okay, so Zulay got this job. She did business analysis. She got the job as a project support officer. It came with sponsorship. I'm going to show you how Zulay did it, because the question some of you would have in your mind is, how did business analysis transmit or transform into project support officer? When I get to the skills you need to learn in business analysis, you'd understand how you can also get a job as a project support officer, a PMO analyst, and so on and so forth. Now, this is Zulay, and I'm going to show you how Zulay did it, and so on and so forth. Okay. So, one of the things my colleagues would do is they're currently posting the link in the chat. What I want you to do is fill that form, the attendance form, so that you get the recording at the end of today's session. You don't miss out on anything. I'm going to share my slides, and I have so many things you need to pick out from my slides. Okay, so make sure you fill the attendance so that you don't miss anything. Lois is asking, can a financial analyst apply? Absolutely. And I'll show you quickly how to do that when we get to the job application process. Okay. So this is Zulay. Now, this is Ahmed. Ahmed started this role in June 2025, and Ahmed joined our health tech analyst program. Health tech analyst. And this is the healthcare data analytics program. And Ahmed, just like so many people would ask, Adeza, how can I get a job as a healthcare informatics specialist, as a health informatics analyst? What do I need to do? And I tell them, go for the health tech program, go for the healthcare data analytics program. That was what Ahmed did. He joined a session like this. He went for the health tech analyst program. And today, Ahmed works with the NHS as a health informatics support officer. Health informatics support officer. And this is also a reference sent to us saying, Dear Mr. Deza Suleiman, Ahmed is being considered for this role. He's been given an offer. We would like to have your opinion regarding his suitability for the role. And all I needed to do was to fill this. I told them the strength Ahmed has. I told them the type of tools he knows how to use, the tools and technologies, all the things he had learned, and he was able to secure that position. Same with Mary. Mary joined our data analytics program, and today Mary is an IT service desk analyst. She started this job in May 2025. And I want to pause and make something very clear. Mary had no previous experience. Ahmed had no previous experience. Zulay had no previous experience. They were all beginners, just like you. And today, they currently work within the technology space with the NHS, and all these roles came with visa sponsorship. Same with Ade. Ade joined our Agile project management program. Today, Ade works with the Lincolnshire Teaching Hospital as a senior project manager. Started his role in October 2025. And there's so many other people like that. You have Prince. Prince started his role in January this year, 2026, as an information analyst. One of the most common roles you'd see, especially for those that did data analytics, is the information analyst. Abayomi got a job as a pathology data analyst with the Southeast NHS Foundation Trust. Altogether, we have over 237 alumni working with the NHS, and they are all on visa sponsorship. So these are professionals in data, in project management, in business analysis, data engineering, and so many roles within the technology ecosystem. But the question is, how did they get the job? How did they get these jobs? Over 237 and counting. So this is as at 2025. We've not added the numbers of 2026 to the 237. Okay, and there are so many people that have gotten jobs. We are waiting for them to settle into those roles. They create the videos for us, and we share their journey. We share their story with you as well. How did they get the jobs? That's why we are here today. All right. So I'm going to pick one person, okay, one story that is very profound, and I'll share that journey with you. And that's the journey of a stay-at-home mom who moved from a stay-at-home mom to an NHS information analyst role. And her name is Ikmat. Ikmat was a full-time stay-at-home mom for over 2 years. Then she moved to the UK for her master's. So she had a massive employment gap, which usually people would say is a disadvantage. So she moved to the UK to do a master's in public health. She wanted to restart her career and secure sponsorship. Now, she realized very soon, very quickly when she joined her master's program that she wasn't learning the skills required to land a job with the NHS. She looked at different roles within the NHS and they required specific tools like Excel, like SQL, and so on. But she wasn't learning that during her master. So what did she do? She joined our data analytics program. And before she even completed a master's, she landed a job with the NHS as an information analyst. It came with full visa sponsorship. Ikmat had 3 offers by the time she decided to go with the NHS. There were 3 offers and they all came with sponsorship. But the NHS gave her the opportunity to work remotely, to work from home. And that was a major reason why she took that opportunity, because she still had a little kid to take care of, which is very important to so many people. All right. And that was how Ikmat was able to transition. And just like the others, this is Ikmat's, her reference. Okay, this is Ikmat's reference, sending it to me to confirm Ikmat's experience and confirm her strengths and her weaknesses and so on and so forth. You'd see the role: information analyst and team administrator. Now, I'm going to walk you through Ikmat's story and I'm going to show you exactly what Ikmat did and how you can also do the same. But before I do that, I want you to listen to Ikmat yourself. Ikmat made so many mistakes, but the reason she made mistakes before she joined us, we corrected those mistakes. She learned the skills, and the most important things that enabled her get this job were far beyond just her skills and tools and the technologies she learned. But it was the preparation, the guidance, and knowing where and how to apply, knowing how to get feedback, working on the feedback, and getting better in the next interview. So listen to Ikmat yourself, and then I'll come back and walk you through her story step by step. And I want you to take, number one, you take down what she did first. Number two, you take it down. So by the end of today's session, you know exactly what to do if you want to be like Ikmat. All right. So let's listen to Ikmat very quickly. And I'm going to come back. It's just a 2+ minute video, and I'll come back and I'll walk you through how exactly she did it. Our session today would last for about an hour and a half, and then would have questions and answers. Okay, so let's listen to Ikmat. She moved from a full-time housewife, full-time stay-at-home mom, to multiple offers, and she got a job with the NHS. Okay, so I'm going to be sure that you can hear the audio. And before I go ahead, absolutely. So sit back, relax, enjoy Ikmat's story.
Hi everyone, my name is Ikmat, and I was with the March cohort in 10 Analytics, and joining 10 Analytics has been the best decision so far. For me, someone coming from a background of full housewife, because I had to stay back home to look after my child for 4 years, and then wanting to break into something new, wanting to go back into the workforce, wanting to place myself in the society for better job opportunities. So it was a lot. And then I'm glad that Analytics came along, and then they presented me with so many opportunities right in front of me, better opportunities. And then I'm glad I took it. And then also the advice of do not sell yourself short, that Effie is always saying, it is very, very valid, because place yourself right, don't sell yourself short. It's a very, very, very valid advice. In Analytics, they will hold your hands like a child, through the modules. You have the opportunity to go back and study. You have the opportunity to go back and practice. You have the opportunity to ask questions. We have people you can always go back to, even outside of class hours. It's the most amazing experience so far, really. And then another thing is the interview prep, guys. That is another very important thing. I did my interview prep with Mr. Mohammed, and it is the best decision ever, because it was like he saw into the future. He knew what was going to be asked, and I'm glad that I wrote down all the things he mentioned. I went back to practice, and then when it was time for the interview, it was like everything he was mentioning, everything he mentioned, they kept on. And then when I was answering those questions, I was so confident, because I already practiced. I did an Excel test, I did a maths test, and then they were really impressed. And another thing is, guys, it may not come as fast as you expect. Definitely, you are going to get some no's, and then you may begin to think you're not good enough. You are good enough, yes. The no's will come, but always take it as a basis for learning and development, because after every interview where I got a no, I always make sure I get a personal feedback. So I work on those feedbacks for my next interviews. And yes, it worked. It really worked for me, because I got my first job 3 months into the program, my first job. But I couldn't take up the job because I was a student and I was only eligible to work 20 hours. So I couldn't take up the job. 3 months later, I got 2 jobs with full visa sponsorship. And guys, all the other no's before the 2 jobs prepared me for the yeses I got. So yes, the no's will come, but do not give up, because you always have analytics to go back to. They are the best and the best thing that's ever happened to me. And then yes, and they are the most affordable, the most affordable one I've come across so far, and that's a very good advantage. So yes, analytics for the win.
So that's Ikmat, and I'm going to be walking you through Ikmat's story. All right. So if you listen to Ikmat carefully, she mentioned a couple of things, or she got a lot of rejections. That did not faze her. She kept on applying. And the reason why was simply because one of the things we do for you is mentoring and mentorship. So we keep on encouraging you to apply what you do. We tell you what you're doing wrong, what you need to change, and so on and so forth. One of the other things that made her get that job was her interview preparation. She had somebody who looked at the job description, the person's specification, prepped her for the interview, helped her with her supporting statements. And she went into the room. She knew exactly what to do. She knew exactly what to say. She preempted all the questions. And it was like she said, it was as if he saw into the future to know all the questions that will be asked. And that was what made the difference for Ikmat. So one of the first things Ikmat did, and I want everybody to take note of this, is getting into a career path that is in high demand. So if you're going to do anything, one of the first things you need to do is get into a high demand career path. If you're in a career path that is not eligible for sponsorship, you're wasting your time. If you're in a career path that is not high in demand, employers are not searching for that role, you are simply wasting your time. You want to get into a role that employers are actively searching for. They are looking for you today. They were looking for you yesterday, and they would keep on looking for you tomorrow. So you have better opportunities of landing that job and being easily found. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll walk you through about 8 career paths that you want to focus on. They are in high demand, they are eligible for sponsorship, and these are the roles you want to take note of. And they are non-coding career paths. There are more career paths, but these are the non-coding career paths. So the career path Ikmat decided to get into, the career path all the other people I showed you decided to get into, and they were able to land jobs. Number one, the business analyst career path. Okay. Phenomenal salary. You have about 52,000 to 71,000 pounds per annum on the average. You have the data analyst career path. And this was the career path Ikmat chose. She went for the data analytics career path, and she was able to get that job as an information analyst. Salary is also great. It's above the threshold for sponsorship, between 45,000 pounds to 61,000 pounds per annum. You have the product designer, you have the agile project manager, you have the health tech professional. So the healthcare data analyst, the healthcare project manager, the healthcare business analyst. So these are professionals that work within the healthcare space, but not the bedside care this time around. They work within the technology space within healthcare. So you're a data analyst, but you work in healthcare. You're a business analyst, but you work in healthcare. Okay. Then you have GRC, governance, risk, and compliance. These are cybersecurity professionals that focus on the non-technical part of cybersecurity. And then you have HR analyst and you have the financial analyst. So somebody was asking me the question the other time, can I get a job as a financial analyst with visa sponsorship? And I said yes. So I'm going to show you, we're going to go to the gov.uk website together, and I'll show you how to search for these roles. And I've kept the codes for you. So if you look at the codes, you'd see them. The business analyst, for example, 2133-2431. Financial analyst, you'd see 2422-3544. Okay, so let's go to the site and I would walk you through that. Okay, so again, if you want to get access to my slides, all the links, make sure you fill the attendance so that you have access to this at the end of today's session. So this is the skilled worker visa eligible occupations and codes. If the career path you want to get into is not here, if the code is not here, and you don't have it as higher skilled, then you run the risk of that career path not being sponsored. Okay. So you have higher skilled, you have medium skilled, and you have ineligible. So if it's ineligible, it's clear that that career path is not eligible for sponsorship. If it is medium skilled, it means that the career path is eligible for sponsorship, but with some restrictions. One common restriction is you can get that sponsorship, but you can't pass the sponsorship to your dependents. But if it is higher skilled, then it means that it's eligible for sponsorship with zero restrictions. Okay. So let's look for the financial analyst for the person that asked the other time. That's 2422. So I'm going to scroll all the way down. Okay. To 2422. I'll do this for maybe two career paths and then we'll look at other areas. Okay. 2422. All right. So for the amazing lady that asked the other time, can I get a job as a financial analyst? Does it come with sponsorship? Code 2422, you'd see that clearly. Finance and investment analysts and advisors, credit analyst. So this is a breakdown of other career paths within that area. So it doesn't mean that the job title has to say financial analyst or investment analyst. No, a credit analyst role, financial advisor role, financial analyst, mortgage advisors, finance and investment analyst, and advi- financial and investment analyst not elsewhere classified, which means there are other roles that can also fit into the sponsorship. What the Home Office would look at is your job offer and your job responsibilities. Do they align to this code 2422? And you can see that it is higher skilled, which means eligible for sponsorship with zero restrictions. So remember when I started and I said facts are your friends. When it comes to chaos and confusion, everybody's saying so many things here and there. Facts are your friends. Always remember that. Okay. Oh, Adeza, what if I want to get a job in as a project manager, agile project manager? So an agile project manager is an IT project manager. IT project manager. So let's go 2131. 2131 IT project manager, higher skilled. Oh, Adeza, I want to get a job in as a business analyst. Is it eligible for sponsorship? 2133. Let's go to 2133. 2133, you'd see the IT business analysts, architects, and system designers. Okay. So there are so many other roles broken down within them. Okay. IT business analysts, IT solutions architect, data engineers, data architects, and so on and so forth. And it is what? Higher skilled. Cybersecurity as well, 2135, also eligible. So always remember, and these are the career paths you want to consider if you want to get a job very fast, high demand, and if that you want to be sure they are also eligible for sponsorship. So that's number one. If you're in a career path that is not eligible, you're wasting your time. You would struggle and hassle, and you'd probably be in that phase of applying to jobs, getting rejections until you have to leave the country. Your student visa elapses, your post-study visa elapses, and you have to leave. Okay. So I want to hear from you. Which of these career paths do you want to get a job in? Type into the chat. I shared 8 career paths with you. 8. So type into the chat which of these career paths is it in health tech as a healthcare data analyst, healthcare business analyst, healthcare project manager? Is it as a data analyst, as a business analyst? Is it as an agile project manager? Is it as a GRC analyst, product designer? Type into the chat. Zainab says business. Oh, Zainab, I think Zainab has registered already. I think I saw your registration come in. And I remember your name because you have the exact name of my cousin. I have a cousin that is also Zainab Momo. So when I saw it, was asking myself, is this my cousin that registered? But I saw that it was a different Zainab. So I saw you. Yes, you registered today. I saw that, Zainab. Thanks for joining us today, and good to have you on board. Okay. We have Sam says healthcare data analyst, still confused. Nachi, is fine to be confused, and that's why we are here. Okay. So I'm going to unlock that for you, Nachi. Can you talk about web developer? Web developer is a good career path as a software developer, as a web developer. However, we don't offer that at Analytics. Okay, we don't offer web development as a career path at Analytics. So that's the first thing you want to do. That was exactly what ICMAT did and all the other professionals that got jobs. Identify a career path that is in high demand. Once you've done that, you move to stage number two. And number two is learning the skills required to land those jobs. So you've chosen the different career path you are interested in. How do you learn the skills the right way? So not just learning the skills, because everybody says they know the skills, they've learned the skill. I made the mistake myself saying I've learned the skill by watching YouTube videos and all of that, but that was a waste of my time because there was no structured curriculum. There was no structured learning environment. There was no structured, support. So I'd find myself in a situation where a simple problem, as simple as I'm writing a SQL query, for example, and I use double quotes instead of a single inverted comma. So instead of a single inverted comma, I use double. And I sit on that problem for 2 weeks because I don't know what to do and I'm confused. And that's the mistake a lot of people make when you have a learning environment that is unstructured. Okay. So how do you learn the right way? So the biggest question is, how did Ikmat learn? For her to move from a stay-at-home mom to an NHS information analyst, how did she learn? I'll walk you through that. And this is number two of what you need to do. Number one is get into a high demand career path. You make the job 10 times easier because employers are looking for you. Number two is you want to do what? Learn the right way. So how did Ikmat learn? She learned by learning in a project-based environment. And what does this mean? What does learning in a project-based environment means? It means learning by doing the job. So if I want to become a data analyst, what do? I learn by doing the job of a data analyst. If I want to become a healthcare data analyst, I must learn by doing the job of a healthcare data analyst, which means I must work with healthcare data, healthcare records, medical records, know how to answer questions within the framework of the healthcare space. I understand the regulations and so on and so forth. You must learn that way. If you don't, you will never know how to do the job. You know how to use Excel, you know how to use Power BI, but knowing how to do the job of a healthcare data analyst, zero. And there are so many people that have found themselves in that situation. Somebody told me a long time ago that I've never been more embarrassed in my life. I got a job. I was able to go through the interview process and everything. I got the job, but I did not know how to do the job in cybersecurity. And he had to resign himself. He wasn't fired. He resigned because he was so embarrassed that he was given simple task. He couldn't complete the task. And his manager started to figure out that, hey, I'm not sure this guy knows what he's doing. So he had to come to us to register for our cybersecurity program. And we walked him through how to learn in a project-based environment, doing the job before you get the job. So when you get the job, you know how to do the job. Okay. So just like you, he was in a session like this and he said, hey, I realized the mistake I made. Now I need to correct it. And he joined our cybersecurity program. Okay. So when you learn in a project-based environment, and I'll show you practically what that means and how ICMAT did it, you have to showcase your work. Showcasing your work by building a portfolio. So everybody thinks they are the best, and you think people care and they know about you, but they don't know about you. Nobody knows who you are. Okay. Nobody knew who I was until I showed them what I had done and what I can do. And how did I show them what I had done? I had a portfolio. ICMAT had a portfolio showing the healthcare project she had worked on, showing them how she had used Tableau to build a healthcare related analysis, a dashboard. And that was where people started to see that, okay, I can see the work you've done, the quality of the work, and how good you are. All right. So when anybody asks you what's the best way to learn, you must learn in a project-based environment by doing the real work, and you must showcase that work. You don't hide it. It's not in a folder in your computer. It's in a portfolio that is available publicly on your CV, on your LinkedIn, and anybody can click on that link and see what you've done. So let me show you practically what this looks like. Okay. So let's say you joined the health tech program, the healthcare data analytics program. And this is where you are learning to become a healthcare data analyst. When you're learning Excel, let's go to Excel. You're not learning Excel the conventional way. You are learning Excel by doing what? Working on healthcare related projects using Excel. And I'll show you what that looks like. Okay. So this is Excel class 1 after your problem solving class. And you look at the case study, you look at the project. It's a project called Medcare UK Hospital Group. This is a real world case study. It's a real world project. You look at this project, you go through the introduction, you see what the problem statement is. They don't have a centralized database. You want to help them create that. You want to help them put their data into have a single source of truth and also build a dashboard from that data set. You work on these projects. And when you complete the project, you add it to your portfolio. And I'll show you what that portfolio looks like. Okay. You're learning Power BI. When you learn Power BI, what do? The same thing. You work on project. This particular project is a project for St. Augustine Hospital. All right. So this is a hospital that wants to use, here you're going to use Power BI, connect it to an Azure database, and you help them take that data into the cloud, get data from the cloud, use that data to build a data model, hospital records, hospital data, and you build a dashboard at the end of the day. When you do that, you put that project into a portfolio. So you're not learning to become a healthcare data analyst, but the projects you're working on are projects in e-commerce or projects in sales. That's not going to work. When you get the job in healthcare, you would not know how to do that job. So this is what we call learning in a project-based environment. And when you learn, you don't do this on your own. This is your live class. The platform I'm showing you now is a live class. And your live class is with a professional. I'll show you what it looks like. You work with a professional. And this was what ICMAT did. So every Saturdays, ICMAT would join a live class. She would look at the project together with a facilitator. They worked on the project together. You have the opportunity to ask questions. And at the end of the day, you know exactly how to solve that problem using Excel, using Power BI, using SQL, depending on the tool you are learning on that day. And when you've done all of this, so even if you miss the class for any reason, the class recording is there for you. You can always come back, watch the recording, and you don't miss anything. And when you do all of this, you've worked on all of these projects, what do? You have a portfolio. I'll show you what a portfolio looks like, a sample of a portfolio. So this is a portfolio, Victoria's portfolio. Um, this is a project she completed, Deep Care. Victoria built the portfolio herself. So when you join, you build a portfolio. We show you how to build. You build your portfolio and you upload all your projects into that portfolio. This is one of the projects. It's an ER analysis for a hospital, a medical healthcare project. And she did this using Tableau. So if you go to the reports, you'd see what she's done, the dashboard she's built, and it is interactive. It is not static. Anybody anywhere in the world, uh, any NHS recruiter can open this dashboard. They can click on anything. They click on this to deselect. Everything is blank. They click on Q1. They want to see Q1 data. Q1 data appears. It is not a static data. It's not a static dashboard. It is dynamic. Anybody who sees this would know that you can do this job because you've done it before. All right. So that's the beauty of learning the right way. You learn in a project based environment and you showcase your work in a portfolio. The link to that portfolio would be on your CV and it would be on your LinkedIn. So before you are even invited into the room for an interview, they have seen what you've done and they know you are good to do that job. All you have to do in the interview is go sell yourself, show them why you are a good fit in their culture, show them you're well prepared, you've done your research, and that's how you get opportunities. That was exactly what Ikmat did. That was how she learned, and Ikmat was able to land that job. Okay. I can see questions coming in. We're going to have a Q&A. Okay. We'll have a Q&A. No issues about that. Chidubem is saying, I don't know. I'm confused between data analytics and healthcare analysts. Don't worry. I'll explain the difference to you when we get to Q&A. I'm going to make a note of that and explain. They're pretty much similar, but they're also different. But I'll explain it to you in more detail. So first thing Ikma did was to get into a high demand career path. Getting the job is a lot easier. Second thing she did was to learn in a project-based environment. That's learning by doing the job and to also build a portfolio. All right. And you're going to work on 15 to 25 projects. She completed over 15 to 25 projects, depending on the program you join eventually. So I'll show you what she learned. What skills and tools did she learn? Because that's where a lot of people also get it confused and they make mistakes. I want to become a data analyst. What do I learn? They go learn different things. I made the mistake too. When I was learning to become a data analyst, I learned how to use a database tool called MongoDB. It's a NoSQL database, NoSQL. It's called NoSQL. And the reason why I learned MongoDB, so if you Google MongoDB, you'd see it will pop up. The reason why I learned MongoDB was I thought, because I saw it on one job requirement, and I thought that, okay, to get a job as a data analyst, you need MongoDB. I've worked as a data analyst for over 13 years now, going into 13 years. I have never used MongoDB in the workplace. So it was a waste of my time learning MongoDB. So I'm going to walk you through the tools and technologies that you would learn if you want to get into the career path like ICMAT or into any of the other career paths that I've highlighted, the 8 career path. And I'm going to move fast with this. So walk with me and let's get this done together. So ICMAT joined the data analytics program. Okay. And what did she learn? She learned problem solving, how to solve problems, how to recognize that this is a problem, how to define problems, how to approach the problem solving process using different frameworks like the CRISP-DM framework, the McKinsey-Macy model, and so on and so forth. Getting to the root cause of a problem using the 5 whys, the 5 why technique, knowing how to break problems into multiple parts using the McKinsey-Macy model. Macy, mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive. You're going to learn how to do that. When you break problems into multiple parts, what next? Prioritization. So which of these parts should I start with? Should I start with the first part? Do I start with the second? And so on and so forth. So you learn the prioritization matrix. You learn the CRISP-DM framework, which helps you understand, do we have the data to even solve this problem? And if we don't have the data, how do we get the data? How do we generate the data? That's all problem solving. So before you get into using Excel or any tool at all, you need to know problem solving. That was what Ikmat did. Then she moved to Excel, SQL, Power BI, Tableau, data storytelling, which is telling a story from the data you've analyzed. Okay. Oh, you want to answer questions like, um, you want to answer questions like, when does the hospital receive the most patients? Okay, which departments are overloaded with patients? How long do patients wait before seeing the doctor? Okay, you want to answer questions using analyzing healthcare records and so on. You want to tell a story to the hospital management. You want to tell a story to the chief marketing officer or the chief commercial officer because they don't know your Power BI, they don't know your Tableau. So data storytelling is a skill. So we teach you that. She learns how to use generative AI for data analytics using ChatGPT and also Microsoft Fabric. All right. Now, this is for the data analytics program. For the health care data analyst program, you learn the exact same tools and the exact same technologies, the exact same thing. The difference, and this is going to the question, the person that asked the question, the difference is as a data analyst, I'm going to work with data from different sectors. I would analyze data from retail, companies like Tesco, Primark, River Island. They all have data analysts and so on, analyzing data and helping them understand what is happening in the business and why those things are happening. You'd work with customer data, you work with research data, you work with sales data, you work with different types of data as a data analyst. As a healthcare data analyst, your projects, your data are medical records, healthcare data. So you're not answering questions, doing customer segmentation like the data analyst. You are not answering questions like what are our top selling products? If you work for Tesco, for example, what are the low performing stores in around West Yorkshire, for example? Okay, what are the top selling products? You're not answering questions like that as a healthcare data analyst. You are rather working with patient records, hospital data, treatment outcomes, disease trends, and so on and so forth. So if you join the data analytics program, you're going to work on data within different sectors. 80% of the projects you'd complete are going to be within retail. They would be within, FMCG, they would be within aviation and so on and so forth. The other 20% would be in healthcare. Because what we try to do is not to get you fixed into one particular area. We want you to also get to understand some healthcare. Because if you want to apply to the NHS, you must know how to speak their language. You must have worked on healthcare projects. So the fact that you are in data analytics does not mean you will not do healthcare. You'd only do 20% projects in healthcare. But if you're in the healthcare data analytics program, 80% of the projects you would complete would be in healthcare. Then 20% would be in other sectors like in retail, like in FMCG, aviation, transportation, and so on and so forth. So when you look at the portfolio of Victoria, the one I showed you earlier, you have healthcare projects. But if you go through, you'd also see that you have aviation projects, logistic projects. Okay, so that's the major difference. In terms of the tools and technologies, you'd learn the exact same thing. But in terms of the type of data that you'd work with, as a healthcare data analyst, you get to work with healthcare records, treatment outcomes, medical data, and so on and so forth, clinical records and all of that. But as a data analyst, you'd work on more industries, retail, aviation, banking, finance, and so on and so forth. All right. So that's the major difference. But in terms of tools and technologies, you learn the exact same tools and the exact same technologies. And the way you get to learn, you learn for 6 months and you intern for 2 months. I'll talk about the internship when we get there. Okay. And your class happens on Saturdays. So you have a live class. So you're not always just watching videos. You have a live class with a real professional. And I showed you what the recording looks like. And that was exactly what made the difference for Ikmat because she had somebody she could speak to that had done that job and could guide her on where she made mistakes and so on. She could share her screen to show and say that this is what I've done. And she got immediate feedback. So every Saturday is 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. You have a live class if you are in the UK. If you are in the US, you are in Canada, in North America, you have your classes Saturdays 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Time. So if you're in the UK, for example, you have some flexibility. If you miss the class in the morning, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., you can join the class for those in North America, which would roughly be 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. your time. So you have that flexibility. Every other day on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, at your own convenience, you can log into the LMS, watch your videos, practice, solve problems. You have assignments, you have projects, and I'll show you what the LMS looks like. Okay, so that's the journey for you. Now, Ikmat did not spend 8 months before she landed that job. If you listen to her carefully, she said 3 months into the program, 3 months into the program, she had gotten her offers. She couldn't take the offer at that time because she was a student and she had a limitation to work for 20 hours. If you're a student per week, you can't do more than 20 hours in the UK, for example. In Canada, they give you up to 24 hours sometimes. Apart from when school is off session, you can then work for more than that. But she had that limitation, but she got her job. She got jobs 3 months into the program. And I'll tell you how that was possible. Because people ask, Adeza, the program is for 8 months. How can I get a job 3 months in or 4 months in? It's very simple. The NHS at that time wanted somebody who knew Excel and SQL. That was all they wanted. Microsoft Excel and SQL. And for those in the data analytics program, you'll have completed Excel and SQL within 3 months, 2.5 to 3 months, you'd have completed your Excel and SQL. So at the time, Ikmat had completed Excel. She had completed SQL. She was in Power BI. She had started Power BI. So at the time she got into the interview, she told them that, look, if you give me this job, I'm going to convert all your Excel reports into Power BI. So she was bringing an addition, a value add that was not part of the job requirements. And that made the difference for them. And they were impressed and said, hey, we need somebody with Excel. We need somebody that knows SQL. But this lady has three key skills. And it was part of the reasons why she got that job. So when you are 3 months in, you would have completed your CV review, you'd have completed your LinkedIn optimization, and you would have learned a considerable level of skills. We start to push you during your mentorship session to apply to jobs. That was what we did for Ikmat. She was skeptical. I don't think I'm good enough. We pushed her to apply. She got the offer. She got the interview invite. We prepped her for the interview and she got the job. So when somebody asks you, oh, how can I get a job in 3 months or in 4 months or in 5 months? This is how you get the job. Because what you are learning are the skills that all the skills you need. But sometimes organizations don't want you to have all the skills. Some organizations would say we want somebody who knows Power BI, SQL, and Tableau. They don't want Excel. So, but that's an addition for you. Okay, so we push you to apply. That was what ICMA did. So that's for data analytics and healthcare data analytics. Now we have the business analyst. Okay, as a business analyst, one of the first things you would learn is your data skills. You'd learn Excel, Power BI, and SQL. Then you learn process mapping because your major responsibility as a business analyst is to map processes. How does a process start? How does it end? And where are the inefficiencies within that process so that I can give recommendations on how we can optimize the process. That's your role as a business analyst. So you learn Excel, Power BI, SQL. You learn how to map out processes using Lucid Charts, Draw.io. You learn project initiation. Remember, I told you I was going to tell you how Zule got a job as a project support officer. This amazing lady, how she got the job as a project support officer, even though she did business analysis. This is how she did it. All right. So Zule did business analysis, but she got a job as a project support officer. And that's because as a business analyst, you're going to learn project initiation and planning. It's a project management skill. You'd learn Agile and Scrum for projects. It's a project management skill. You'd learn software development lifecycle. It's a project management skill. You'd learn stakeholder analysis and engagement. It's a project management skill. So there are a lot of convergence between business analysis and project management. So it gives you opportunity to apply to more jobs because you have a broader set of skills. So that was what Zule leveraged. We helped her emphasize her project management skills when applying to jobs, and she was able to get that job. So, and what tools do you learn to, complement your project management skills? You're going to learn how to use Jira to track project deliverables, Trello to track team members' tasks and responsibilities on projects, Azure DevOps to ensure you implement the agile methodology on project, the Scrum framework on projects. You'd also get to learn requirement fundamentals, elicitation, and generative AI for business analysis using Chat GPT. This is what you need to learn as a business analyst in 2026 if you want to land a job that comes with sponsorship. Some people argue with me that, hey, Adez, I don't think I need to learn Excel, Power BI, and SQL. Not in 2026. The job market is more competitive. Employers are looking for business analysts that can do a little bit more than just process optimization, stakeholder management, requirement gathering. They are looking for business analysts that can also use Excel, that can build dashboards with Power BI, that can interact with databases using SQL. Okay. And of course, the healthcare business analyst, just like the data analyst, you are also a business analyst, but the difference is you work within the healthcare space. I'll show you somebody that got a job within the NHS in healthcare as a business analyst, and our job title is business architect. So as a business analyst and as a healthcare business analyst, you learn the exact same tools and technologies. And just like the way I explained the data analytics, you are pretty much doing the same role in business analysis. The difference is one is focused on healthcare, the other one is focused on other industries and other sectors. All right. So if a hospital wants to implement they currently have a problem with a slow process within the hospital. So let's take, for example, you have overcrowding in the emergency room. How do we solve that problem? The business analyst steps in. Why do we have overcrowding? We have overcrowding because people cannot book appointments online. They have to walk in to see the GP. They have to walk in to see the physician. So what do I need to do as a business analyst? Can we create a patient management system that would allow people to book appointments online so we solve the problem of, too many people coming into the ER? So as a business analyst, you take up that, you recommend how to optimize that process. You interact with the different stakeholders. You meet with the doctors, the hospital administrators. You understand things from their own perspective. What do you want us to include in this patient management system? And you create a business requirement document. You take that document, you give it to the technology team. The technology team would build the patient management system based on the requirements you have gathered. And rather than patients just walking in, now they can book appointments online. And when they book appointments online, they know when to come. You have a proper scheduling system and you've solved the problem of too many people, you know, coming to the ER. That's the role of the business analyst. Okay. And again, 6 months learning, 2 months internship. Like I said, I'll speak about the internship, and the timeline is similar to data analytics. Your classes are 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the UK, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. if you're in Canada, you're in the US, in North America, and so on. Then we have the agile project management. And this is where you're a project manager, but an IT project manager. That's the agile project manager. Okay. So your major role is to ensure that you're somebody who leads a team to deliver projects step by step. So you see that project management system that the business analyst, I beg your pardon, the patient management system that the business analyst wants to implement so that people can book appointments online. So let's say one of the feature is book appointments online, book online. Another feature is integrate to Google Calendar, Google Calendar and your Apple Calendar, iOS Calendar. Let's assume that's another feature. Another feature is integrate billing into the patient management system. So there are so many things you want to implement. The agile project manager would lead that project to deliver it on a step-by-step basis. So if we're going to do 1, 2, 3 together, it will take us 1 year. But we don't have 1 year, that's 12 months, to fix the problem of um, the overcrowding in the ER. We want to fix it as soon as we can. So an IT project manager would do what? They would break it into multiple parts called sprints. So sprint one would be, let us build the patient management system and integrate. Let's build the online booking. Let's put that feature, ensure it's available, and then we deploy. So rather than waiting for 1 year, we do this in what? 2 to 3 weeks. Let's say 3 weeks. So in 3 weeks, we have our patient management system and we have the ability for people to book online. So patients can now book online. We solve the problem of overcrowding in the ER. Sprint number 2 would now be to integrate the bookings with Google Calendar, iOS Calendar, and so on. And that's what the Agile project manager does. Break projects into multiple parts so that instead of delivering in 1 year, we deliver in 3 weeks. We do the next one. In the next 2, 3 weeks, we're able to deliver another one, another feature. The next 3 weeks, we deliver another feature. And we are getting real-time feedback from the users. And we're using the feedback to do what? Improve the platform. Okay, so you would learn project management skills and tools and technologies from introduction to the project management methodologies and structure. Your focus as an IT project manager would be on Agile, the Agile methodology, which includes the Scrum framework, Kanban, and so on. So you're going to learn a lot about Scrum. And that's why, as an Agile project manager, IT project manager, you can also get a job as an Agile coach. You can get a job as a Scrum master. You can get a job as a PMO analyst because of your focus on the Agile methodology. So all those things I explained, breaking the project into multiple parts, completing one part, getting feedback, improving, moving to the next part. That's the Agile methodology. Okay, so you're going to learn the Scrum framework, the Scrum artifacts, the Agile practices, advanced Agile, advanced Scrum practices, end-to-end use of Jira and Confluence on projects. You would also prepare you for the professional Scrum Master examination. You'd learn how to use Jira to track deliverables, Confluence to collaborate, Trello to track team members' task responsibilities, Draw.io to map out processes, and ChatGPT for generative AI for the Agile Project Manager. Now, you also have the Healthcare Project Management Program. The skills, the tools, the technologies are exactly the same. The difference is, as an agile project manager, you can work in different industries, multiple sectors. As a healthcare project manager, your focus is on healthcare organizations, the NHS, public health organizations, health tech organizations, and so on and so forth. So 80% of your projects here would be what? Healthcare, while 20% will be other industries and sectors. And the timeline is the same: 8 months, 6 months learning, 2 months internship. And you have your classes on Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the UK, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. if you are in North America. And of course, we have the financial analyst and we have the HR analyst. The financial analyst and the HR analyst are both data analysts. The difference is the financial analyst focuses on financial data, financial records. The HR analyst focuses on HR data, HR records, people records. So you're learning data skills, problem solving, Excel, Power BI, SQL, and then you learn the core fundamentals in finance, accounting fundamentals, financial modeling, financial analysis, and so on and so forth. So it was important for Ikmat when she learned, she understood what she needed to learn before she got in. And that made the difference for her. Okay. As a HR analyst, you learn your data skills, problem solving, Excel, Power BI, SQL, and then you move into the core HR areas, the HR metrics and life cycle, collaboration and report automation, HR analysis and dashboarding, building your case and creating action, and then generative AI using ChatGPT for HR analytics. 6 months learning, 2 months internship, and it doesn't matter where you are, there's a class tailored to your time zone. You have the GRC analysts. A GRC analyst is somebody who helps an organization. They protect the organization essentially. They help them stay away from problems, follow the rules and guidelines set within the organization so that the company can avoid problems. And I'll give a typical example. For anybody that works in the NHS, for somebody like Ikmat that works in the NHS, data is very sensitive. Healthcare data is very sensitive. So before you get access to the database, there is a level, you have several levels of approvals. Your line manager approves, head of IT would approve, and so on and so forth. Who creates that framework, the governance framework on who approves access to that database, who approves access to the new employee to get access to a particular system or network or database? That's the GRC analyst. So your role is to develop policies, governance framework to ensure that people that shouldn't have access to specific data, sensitive information, networks, and systems, they don't have that access. And for those that have access, you define the level of access that they have and how the approval process would go through. That's your role and responsibility. So you're putting in controls in place. You are checking if things are working well by monitoring the policies and so on and so forth. And you're also ensuring compliance. Are we complying with HIPAA if you're in the US? Are we complying with the GDPR if you're in the UK? And you report to management. Okay, so that's your role. It's the non-technical part of cybersecurity for those who want to get into cybersecurity and you don't want to write scripts, you don't want to do penetration testing, you don't want to do ethical hacking, and so on and so forth, or SOC. GRC is the best entry point for you. So if you don't have any knowledge or a beginner, this is one of the best places for you to start in cybersecurity. All right. So you learn everything GRC, from GRC and business, enterprise risk management, and so on and so forth. The timeline is also for 8 months, 6 months learning, 2 months internship. And last but not the least is product design. So a product designer is that person responsible for how digital products look. So we currently have a platform we are using for this meeting, for this gathering, for this webinar. It's called Zoom. Somebody built how Zoom should look like. Somebody designed where the share button should be. They designed where the microphone button should be. They defined the color. They defined the look and feel. So when you see that website that looks beautiful, when you see that application, your mobile application, your phone, your banking application on your mobile phone that looks good, it's easy to use, it's easy to find things and so on, a product designer was responsible for building how that product looks and how it feels. So that experience and the interface of that platform was designed by a product designer. Okay. So if you are somebody who has a flair for design, you're a makeup artist, you're a graphic designer, you are an interior decorator, you are creative in arts and so on, product design is a great career path. So you're going to learn user experience, foundations, and research. You'd learn usability testing, portfolio and AI for product design, wireframes. You'd learn how to use Framer, Figma, Claude, Notion, and so on and so forth. Right? And product design is the only program that is not for 8 months. It's for 4 months, 3 months learning, 1 month internship. Okay. Now, these are the skills and tools and technologies. And remember, knowing what you need to learn was the mistake I made where I learned MongoDB because I saw it somewhere and I thought I would need it, but I never needed it. When you know what to learn, you learn a skill, you learn different tools, different technologies, and you know how to focus on those tools and technologies in order to land the job. So I'm going to recap very quickly because I've gone through 2 steps. The first step is getting into a high demand career path. And the second step is learning the right way. And when you learn the right way, you must learn by working in a project-based environment, which is learning by doing the work. And you also showcase your work by building a portfolio. And it's important, you must know the tools, the skills you need to learn. That was what ICMAT did. Tenalytics is a proud member of the CPD. We are accredited by the CPD in the UK, which shows our programs meet international standards. You can request for your transcripts for, your continuing education, continuing professional development, and it shows that it signals to employers that you have a structured learning environment when you gain the skills. And we are also accredited by the American Council of Training and Development. These things make a massive difference. Now, the third part of what you need to do to land that job, I dare say is one of the most important, if not the most important, is gaining work experience to show employers they are the best candidate for the job. So when you've decided on the career path, you know how to learn the right way. You now know the skills you need to learn. You've built a portfolio. You must show employers you have experience. You must show them examples of what you've done before, what you've achieved. You must show that you have knowledge, you have some mastery in that area you want to get into. Employers don't want to know what you can do. They want to know what you have done before. So how do you gain work experience? How did ICMAT gain work experience to show the NHS that she knew how to do the job? So what ICMAT did, which is what you would do and what we help everybody else do, is you see all those projects you complete in class, like I showed you, you add them to your portfolio. They're part of your work experience. Then you have your internship, 2 months internship with Amdari. So I talked about the internship earlier, 6 months learning, 2 months internship. Your internship is where you get to work with other professionals. So if you're a healthcare data analyst, you don't work alone. You work with the data engineers who are responsible for building the data pipelines, responsible for building the data infrastructure, the data warehouse. You are working with other professionals within the NHS, within the same organization. So we create that environment for you where you get to work on these projects collaboratively, where you learn teamwork, you learn how to work in teams, you learn communication skills, adhering to deadlines and deliverables, and so on and so forth. That's the beauty of your internship. And you can also list Amdari as your work experience on your CV and on your LinkedIn. So every single project you complete, the individual project and the collaborative project during your internship, they become parts of your work experience. And I'll show you where it becomes important when you list Tenalytics or Amdari as your a part of your work experience, just like Ikmat did right here. Okay, this is Ikmat. She listed Tenalytics as part of our work experience. That's the only reason why the NHS reached out to me to say provide a reference for Ikmat. So if you go to Ikmat's LinkedIn profile, which I'll show you very quickly, okay, if you go to Ikmat's LinkedIn profile, one of the first things you'd see is Ikmat worked with Tenalytics. So that's just going to come up. So Ikmat, you'd see you both worked at Tenalytics. If you go to her experience, you'd see data analyst with Tenalytics. The importance of positioning yourself like this is showing employers one thing. You have done that job before, you are currently on the job, and you can do it for them. So when you get that offer, you can get a reference from an organization where you carried out those responsibilities. That's the importance of your internship and also listing Tenalytics and Amdari as part of your work experience. And don't forget, you must also showcase your work in a portfolio. All right. Once you've done 1, 2, and 3, number 4 is to know where to apply and how to apply. Where to apply and how to apply. Ikma did not guess where she needed to apply. She did not guess on how she needed to apply. The first place you would apply to is the Tenalytics job board. This is a job board within Tenalytics. What we do is we scrape jobs from platforms, different platforms. First of all, from platforms that are paid, job boards that everybody don't have access to. So paid job boards, exclusive job boards that list visa sponsor jobs. We scrape those jobs, we vet those jobs to be sure that these are the jobs you can do, and we make them available to you in your LMS. I'll show you what this looks like when you get into the LMS, okay? Then when you move from Tenalytics to Amdari for your internship, you also have the Amdari dashboard, the job board that shows you jobs you can apply to. So before you go to LinkedIn, read.co.uk, NHS jobs, CV library, you start from here because these are the jobs we have gotten for you to apply. Jobs we have vetted as the jobs you can get and the jobs that everybody else would not have access to except they have subscribed. Okay, so this sets you as one of the candidates to land an interview a lot faster than your contemporaries simply because you have access to these exclusive job boards. And of course, we also show you general job boards where you can apply to. So you apply to the most number of jobs. Okay, so UK visa jobs, for example, this is one of the exclusive job boards. You have to pay. We pay for it. We have access. We scrape the jobs. We make it available to you. Okay, and I'll show you what this looks like in the LMS very quickly because of time. Okay, so when you log into your dashboard, for those of you that will be joining us, you have something called the job tracker. When you go to your job tracker, you have the job board and you have the job tracker. So let's say I want to apply for a business analyst job or a data analyst role or an information analyst role, healthcare analyst role. All I need to do is come in here, type in the role, business analyst, for example. and all the jobs would come. You'd see the jobs that also have what? Visa sponsorship. This is a sponsored job, a visa sponsored job. This is a visa sponsored job. All I need to do is I click on the link and I can apply to that job. So let's say I want to apply to the IT business analyst. It's a visa sponsored job. It was posted about 3 days ago, or 2 days ago, rather. I just come in here, click on it. It takes me to the website and I can start applying. IT business analyst with visa sponsorship. So I go in here and I'll show you how to apply, where to apply, how to apply. Very important. So Ikmat knew exactly where to apply to jobs, and she also knew how to apply. So I'm going to demo how to apply using a proprietary tool. And like I mentioned, for those of you that stay till the end, I'm going to show you how this proprietary tool can become yours and how you can also use to apply to jobs. So when people are tailoring their CV and it's taking them 1 hour to tailor a CV and apply to jobs, you are doing it in 2 minutes or less than 2 minutes. And I'll show you and prove to you that using CV Matchly, which is a proprietary AI tool, will do the job, your CV for you, do the job application for you, and you can track the jobs you've applied to. For your NHS jobs, it would come up with your supporting statement for you and all the other documents that you want to use to apply. And this was what also helped somebody like Ikmat and so many other people to land their jobs. So I'm going to walk you through this in the next 2 minutes. But before I go there, I want to know if you're having a good time, you're learning something new today, type in a yes into the chat. Type in a yes into the chat. And I'm going to answer your question, Sam. Okay, Sam is asking that if I get a job in 3 months, is it compulsory that I complete? What we've seen, Sam, is most people still go ahead to complete because they want to get all the skills. They don't want to stop halfway, even though they've gotten the job. They want to know more than the job requires so that your growth within that organization is also fast. Okay, so that's what we've seen. But for some people, if their jobs don't give them the time to keep on applying, they drop off to focus on the new job. So it's totally at your own discretion. Okay, so brilliant. Yes, 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 yes. All right. So let me show you. We're going to do a very quick job demo, job application demo. So I'll show you how, for somebody who is a part of Tenalytics, for those that join Tenalytics, why they get the jobs a lot faster than everybody else. And it's because of things like this. You know where to apply, you know how to apply. So let me show you how to apply. Let's go to the NHS. Okay. So I'll go to NHS jobs very quickly. NHS jobs. So if you type this out, it comes up on Google, or you have it. I always have it as a pinned, um, you know, my bookmark. Okay. So just like Ikmat applied for an information analyst role, which is a data analyst role essentially. So for those that want to get jobs like Ikmat, you want to consider healthcare data analyst because they're going to focus a lot on NHS data, medical data. So it makes it a lot easier for you to get in. All right. So I'm just going to type information analyst. Okay. And let's search and see roles. You have about 7,301 jobs found for information analyst. Okay. So many roles, information analyst, senior information analyst, but I want to apply to jobs that matches the salary threshold. Okay. So for your job, or for your role for you to get a COS for that role, essentially, the role must meet the salary threshold of £41,700 minimum. That's generally. Okay. So you don't want to apply to jobs that may not meet that salary threshold. So I'm going to come in here, go to the pay range, and I'll select 40 to 50, 50 to 60. You can add 60 to 70 if you want to be ambitious as well. And I've seen so many people get jobs with Cognizant, with Jaguar Land Rover in Coventry, so many other, roles, and they started at 60K. All right. But let's leave it at 40 to 50, 50 to 60. Apply filters. So it reduced from 7,000 plus to 2,600. Still a lot of jobs to apply to. Okay. Senior information analyst with the Birmingham Trust is one of the roles, 39 to 48K. It's a permanent role, full-time role as well. Let's look at this. So I'd first of all open up the role. I want to see what it's all about in terms of my main duties. So I want to know if there is something here that would stop me from getting the job when I'm done or I've completed my healthcare data analytics program with Analytics. So main duties of the job: analyze large NHS data sets using SQL. So you see SSRS, SSIS. These are SQL related. These are data transformation, tools, SQL Server reporting services, SQL Server integrated services. And these are things you'd learn this using PostgreSQL. Using PostgreSQL. Okay. So SQL, SSRS, SSIS, you combine them together, Power BI and Excel. So this is all they need from me. SQL, Power BI, Excel. Because when you're learning SQL, you're going to learn how to transform your data using tools like SSRS, integrate your data using tools like SSIS. But you'd use Postgre, not, um, you know, this specific. And I would explain how that looks like. Imagine you want to learn how to type. You can use Microsoft Word, you can use Google Docs. They do the same thing. One is from Google, the other one is from Microsoft. That's pretty much what it is. So there is nothing here that is complex from me that would stop me from getting this job. Produce performance reports, develop and improve reporting systems, and so on. So I look at all what the role is all about, the job description, the person specification, and so on and so forth. Okay. And when I look at all of that, what do? I also want to look at two important things in the supporting statement: the JD, which is the job description, and also the person specification. A lot of people don't do this, but before you apply to any job, the person specification and the job description is absolutely critical. So if you click on this, it's going to download the job description. Okay, so you go through it, but like I said, there is a tool that will do all of these for you. You don't need to read it yourself, you don't need to go through yourself, and so on. So you can see the main responsibilities of what you do in the job description, and everything you tailor when applying to the job must be tailored to this job description. If not, you're wasting your time. You also look at the person specification, okay? And we're going to see what that looks like. The person specification that should come up, or let me open it if it hasn't come up yet. And here you don't need to read it in detail. All you need to do is ensure that you have this proprietary tool which would help you apply to the job. Okay, so let's look at the person specification and I'll show you that very quickly. So that's the person specification. So you know exactly what they want. All right. So the experience, what should your experience cover? This is essential. Qualification, okay? What should it cover? You must have what? English, GCSE, maths, GCSE, grade C or above. Numerates, which means you can write, you can read, and so on. A level, degree, willing to complete, supervisory management qualification, and so on. Okay, what qualities do they need? So everything you write into your supporting statement must also contain the person specification. If not, you're not going to get in. You won't get that interview. Don't waste your time. And this is where a lot of people get dropped off when applying to NHS jobs. They don't look at this in detail. It's also daunting for you to want to apply to, let's say, 10 jobs, and you have to read and review, these complex information yourself. And that's why you want to use a tool like CV Matchly. So what CV Matchly does for you is all I need to do is I have CV Matchly on my extension. So once I click on that, CV Matchly would come up. Okay, so I'm going to upload a CV that I would use, and I'll show you that CV I'm going to upload. The CV is a CV of somebody who's worked as a support worker. They've listed Amdari for their internship as part of their work experience, but they don't want to stress themselves tailoring the CV themselves and making the adjustment. CV Matchly does it for you. Okay. So I'm going to show you the CV. We're going to upload it, we'll analyze, and we're going to apply to this job. I'll show you how it does the whole process for you, step by step. All right. So let's see the CV. So this is a CV of Michael. A CV of Michael. Michael has his profile. He has everything right there. Michael has listed Amdari, London, as part of his work experience. He has also listed that he's worked with each step in Blackburn as a support worker. He's worked as a sales analyst and so on. This is the CV he wants to use to apply. So what does Michael do? All Michael needs to do is upload. So I'm going to upload Michael's CV, which is the way you would upload when applying to jobs. So I'll click here. I'm going to upload Michael's CV. Okay, so it's in use, which means I'm just going to close it from here. All right, so let's upload again. So upload Michael's CV and it's going to analyze the CV. So automatically, CV Matchly would pick up the job summary. So if you look at the job summary right here, you'd see that it has picked up the job summary of the information, the senior information analyst, and it has analyzed the CV and said the CV only meets 55%. So, and this is what people do. You have one CV, you use that CV to apply to all the jobs, and you don't check by how much do I meet this particular job? How much does my CV match to the job requirement? So Michael's CV matches by just 55%. So you'd see this is, the Sandwell and West Birmingham NHS trusts. You have the sponsorship route, skilled worker route. It's on the shortage occupation list, IT information. It is above the threshold. So this is a tool telling you that go ahead and apply. This is the sponsorship analysis, and you should go ahead and apply. It's above the threshold and so on and so forth. And it would show you the missing keywords on your CV. You can see the job description. But you know what you do? Rather than doing it manually, just click on optimize. And when you click on optimize, it would ask you optimization level. We leave it at moderate, generate optimized CV. So CV Matchly would take the job description, take the person specification, take the job requirements right here, and tailor your CV to a CV that matches the job. Take it from 55% to 90%. And when you apply, you also generate your supporting statement before you apply. If they require a cover letter, you generate the cover letter. Okay. So these are the things you need to do when putting your application. So optimization is complete. What do? I can download my optimized CV and I get to see what the optimized CV looks like. All right. So let me open this up. So this is my optimized CV, Michael Adetayo. I can now read the professional summary. Okay. I have frontline healthcare experience. Healthcare experience was not part of the previous CV, but now there's healthcare experience. And where do you gain the healthcare experience? At analytics, while you're learning in class, working on projects, those projects I showed you, your internship, and so on and so forth. All right. So you'd also have your technical skills, your core skills. It would pick up the core skills and the technical skills from the job description and add that to your CV so your CV matches the job you want to apply to. Okay, so it tailors your experience with Amdari, tailors the experience in the previous organization, and tailors all that experience for you so that you have the experience required that matches the job for you to get in for that interview. Now, before you go ahead and use this CV to apply, you log into your CV Matchly dashboard. Okay, and I'll show you that very quickly. So you log into CV Matchly, you go to your dashboard, and when you go to your dashboard, you'd see the job under your job application tracker. You'd see the job you've just applied to, the senior information analyst, the one you've just, tailored your CV to. Let me maximize this so you can see it a bit better. Okay. So you go to your job application tracker. All right, this has taken me to, let me just refresh this. So you see the senior information analyst. This was today, the 23rd of May. All right, you can see the Sandwell and West Birmingham NHS Trust. All you need to do is come here, click on this. You can generate a cover letter, generate your supporting statement, and apply. So when you generate your supporting statement, it takes the person's specification, the job description, the job requirement, and it comes up with a supporting statement that would get you that interview. And all I need to do is to click, get it, use that to apply to the job, create an account with the NHS, log into that account. Okay, I sign in into my account, I go ahead and apply to this job, and every job you apply to would appear on your dashboard. You see the jobs you've applied to, the ones you've interviewed for, the ones you got rejected for, and the ones you got an offer for. Everything in one place. If you want to see the CV you used to apply to a job, because there are sometimes people would see some jobs, some interview invites, and they forgot that, oh, I applied to this job, or you can't remember where you kept the CV. All you need to do, come here, go to download CV used, and it will download the CV that you used to apply to the job. So there is no confusion. Something that will take 1 hour for people to do, you are doing it in a few minutes. And that's what CV Matchly does for you. It's absolutely amazing. And when people are struggling to land, to apply to 10 jobs in a day or 15 jobs in a day, you are doing that. You're applying to 10, applying to 15, because you have a tool that helps you with the entire process. Tailor your CV, generate your supporting statement, generate your cover letter, and you go ahead and apply. It tracks the application for you. Next week, next month, when you're invited for an interview, you go there, you see the job you applied to, you can download the CV and prepare for that interview. And finally, you need a reference to keep the job. Don't forget. So the NHS and any reputable organization would always want to validate your experience. They want to do that background check on you and be sure you're the right person for the job. So this is ICMAT's, reference. Sent it to me. I've shown you this already, and so many other ways they validate. Okay. So it's either you click on this link to fill the form, or there's an attachment. You fill that attachment, attach it back to the email and send to them. And that this is what ensures that you keep that job when they validate that you're the right person for the job. So summarizing everything I've said so far, number one is to learn and focus on one career path. We help you do this. We equip you with the skills and ensure that you don't just learn, but you know how to do the job. Where we make the difference for you is packaging. And packaging is where we present and position you as the best candidate for that job. You gain work experience with us. You list us as part of your work experience. We provide you with a reference because of that. We help you revamp and you revamp your CV. So when you join, all you need to do, your very first CV, you are revamping that yourself. I'm going to show you something interesting. And like I said, for those that stay till the end, I'll show you how to get free access to CV Matchly. So if I go to my dashboard, you have what? CV Matchly AI. But this is not going to be available to everyone for free. I'll show you how you get this for free. Get this proprietary tool for free. It's a proprietary tool we developed in-house. So you can't get it anywhere. You can search for it, get it, but you have to pay. So how do you get free access? I'll show you how you can get free access to it. So we do your first CV for you, and every other CV, all you need to do is use CV Matchly in your dashboard to tailor, apply, generate your support statements, and we show you exactly what to do. We help you with your LinkedIn optimization because that's one of the first places employers would go to validate your experience and the skills you have. You build a portfolio. I showed you what a portfolio looks like. You have your mentorship sessions, and then you have interview prep. So when you have an interview, one of the things we've heard so many people say, people that come to us, they come and they say, "Hey, Adeza, I've been to this training before. I've joined this training company somewhere in the UK, and I had a very terrible time. I did not get value for my money. I always had to chase them whenever I had interviews." At analytics, you don't chase anybody. When you have an interview, what do? Go to your dashboard. Simply go to where you have interview preparation, click on schedule interview, and that's all you need to do. If you have an interview on Sunday, your interview is on Sunday. You can get prepped for interview on Sunday. You can get prepped for interview on Saturday as many times as possible. So first stage, second stage, third stage, and so on. So you just come here, select the program you've joined. What stage of the interview? Oh, this is the first round interview. What date is the interview? My interview is on Monday, which means I must be prepped on Sunday, the 24th. So when I select Monday, you must be prepped on the 24th, which is on Sunday. You copy the link and post it here for the job. You copy and paste the job description and so on. And then you upload the CV you've used to apply and you book an interview prep. Somebody joins that call and preps you for the interview. You're not chasing anybody. On the day you selected, the time you selected, somebody joins and they prep you. You heard when Ikmat said it was as if the person that prepped her for the interview saw into the future. That's exactly what you would get. Okay. And when you eventually get that job and you need extra support, we have on the job support. We don't help you do the job, but we guide you on how to do the job. The third part I'll summarize is where and how to apply. We show you how to apply in volume with precision using CV Matchly AI. So you're applying to volumes, but with precision. You are tailoring the CV and you are getting results. So it's not a case of apply to 100 jobs and everything is rejections. No, you are getting into the room for interviews because you've tailored that CV and you've gotten interview prep. And that's how you get the job. Okay. There are so many more success stories with the UK civil service for those in Canada, those in the US, across Europe, in Africa. I'm going to show you just a few. I'm not going to bog you down with too many because of time. I want you to make sure you fill the attendance so that you don't miss out on the slides. You get the slide, you can listen and go through all the amazing professionals. You have Sharon. Sharon used to be a customer service professional, for example. She joined data analytics, completed her program in 2024, and she got a job with the HMRC as a risk data analyst. Risk data analyst. And you also have Esther. Esther had a background in pharmacy back in Nigeria. She moved to the UK for her master's. She worked as a care worker and she joined our Agile Project Management program in July last year, 2025. She joined us in April, and in the space of about 3 months, she landed a job with the UK Civil Service, the UK Government Legal Department, as a contract project officer. I want all of you to listen to Esther. When you get my slide, make sure you listen to Esther. She talked about what made her, inspired her to apply to the job, even though she was just about 3 to 4 months in. It was a mentorship session that I held, and I walked them through my journey. And I told everybody on that call on that day, if you wait until you are 100% ready to apply, you would never apply to any job. When you are 60% ready for the job, apply. Because I was 60% ready for the job that made the difference for me. And Esther was inspired. She talked about it in the video. So make sure you watch it. All right. She talked about it. She was inspired. She started to apply to jobs. She got interviews. She talked about how amazing the interview prep was. She had multiple interview preps. And today she works with the UK government, the civil service. So many people. This is Elizabeth. She joined business analysis last year in August 2025. She got a job with HMRC. She got a job with HMRC as a business analyst. Okay. You have Richard. Richard joined our Agile Project Management program. He got a job with HMRC as well last year, August 2025, as a project support officer. You have Francis. Francis got a job as a data quality officer with the Department of Works and Pension. It's a civil service job. Civil service jobs don't usually come with sponsorship. It's difficult to get sponsorship with civil service. All right. But it's one of the most stable jobs you can never get. If you get into the civil service, it's almost impossible for you to get fired. Okay. Favor got a job as a financial investigator after completing our financial analytics program. And she got this job with the Department of Works and Pension. And just like the other professionals, the government, the UK government reached out to us. We provided the reference to them. Dear Deza Suleiman, why you received the email saying that they've offered this person, this position, and they have nominated you as a referee to provide information to confirm that they are who they say they are. They can do the job they have listed that they can do. You have Pavel. Pavel was a teacher in Cameroon, moved to the US, joined our data analytics program. Last year in March, he got a job as a healthcare data analyst. Bukola was in HR back in Nigeria. She moved to the US, joined our business analysis program. She moved across different roles. Last year, January, she got a job as a HRIS analyst in the US. Then she moved into a new role in July as a senior HR business analyst, also in the US. You have Emmanuel, who joined our financial analytics program in December 2024. And by October last year, he got a job as a senior operations consultant with the Bank of America in the US. All these professionals, talked about their experience, what they were able to do. So make sure you listen to them. And there's so many other people in Canada and so on and so forth. You have Christian, who is in Nigeria. You have William, who is in Poland. He went for Poland. He went to do his master's in Poland. He joined us, got a job last year, September, as a strategy analyst. You have Chukwu Ebuka, who is in Ireland. He joined us last year, got a job as a security operations analyst in Ireland. You have Vanessa. Vanessa is in France. She joined our data science program, got a job last year, July 2025, November 2025, with a company in Paris, in France. The interesting thing about Vanessa was immediately she completed her LinkedIn optimization. We did her LinkedIn, showed her how to optimize her LinkedIn profile. She got an in mail on LinkedIn from a recruiter. The recruiter requested for an interview, and that was how Vanessa got that job. She did not apply to the job. So I've shown you so many things. 5 key things you need to do. Get into a high demand career path. Learn the right way, knowing the skills you need to learn, learning in a project-based environment, and building a portfolio to showcase the skills you have. Gain work experience through projects, through internship to show that employer you're the best candidate for the job. Number 4, know where to apply and how to apply. using tools that would make the job a lot seamless and faster for you. And number five, don't forget, you would always need a reputable organization to vouch for you and provide that reference. Okay. When you've done all of this, which are the things over 4,000 people have done to help them transition, that is when the job opportunities start to open for you. And you can also get into that career path where you are progressive. You don't have to work more hours to make more money. You can see the next level coming up. And that visa sponsorship now looks like a possibility, no longer a maybe, because you've gone through all the strategies you need to do to go through to get that job. So all these people, everyone I've shared with you today, every success story, which you'd go back, watch and listen to them, they were very uncomfortable with their jobs. We had nurses who were tired of being nurses. We had care workers who were tired of being care workers. We had healthcare assistants who were tired of being healthcare assistants. Abigail was a care worker. She was tired. Today, she's a business analyst. Judith was a care worker. She was tired. Today, she's a business analyst. Sharon was a healthcare assistant. She was tired. Today, she's a business data analyst. So many professionals. And one question they asked themselves before they decided to join was, am I comfortable where I am? And I want to ask you that question. Are you comfortable where you are? Just type into the chat, yes or no. And I'll show you how to change that today, how to make the difference today, and how to start your journey from today. Because that's one of the things I also said I was going to show you. How do you start? Everything I've shared with you today, how do you get started today? Okay. So are you comfortable where you are right now? Okay. So just type a yes or no in the chat. Gabriel says no. Chidubem says no. Absolutely. We all want better. Okay. We all want better. Precious says no, not at all, Nachi. All right. So no, no, no. I can see it and I can feel it because I've been there myself and I've helped thousands of people like you who have also been in the same situation. You are not comfortable. You deserve more and you shouldn't be comfortable. Okay. And that's because you deserve better. And I'm going to show you how to get better. Okay. How to get that job and how to get into the career path that would make the difference for you. So we have a new cohort starting in June, on the 6th of June, 2026, about 2 weeks from now. And I have two amazing offers for you. All right. Two amazing offers for you. The first offer I have for you today, which is going to be for the first 20 people who will be registering from today's session. If you want to get into any of the career path and join the cohort that will start on the 6th of June in about 2 weeks from today, instead of paying the full amount of £957, you get to you get an amazing 20% discount where you get to pay only £766. And you don't have to make the payment in one installment. You can make your payments in up to 5 installments, which means all you need to start is just £153. If you listen to what Ikmat said, she said they were one of the most affordable as well. And that's because of the flexible payment plan we have available for you. So you don't need to break the bank to make a difference in your career. You can get started as soon as you want to start, as early as you want to start. But the discount is not available to everyone. Okay. For the first 20 people to get started, that's the first discount you have. So first offer you have, rather, you want to get into health tech, data analytics, any of the programs, you get that discount. You can break your payments into up to 5 installments and you start with just £153. And if you're paying in US dollars, you get to start with just $200. And I'm going to show you how to get started. And then we move into Q&A. But there's more. I have more for you. Like I said, two amazing offers. I've given you one. First 20 people would get the offer of 20% off. Then 10 people out of the 20 would also get free access, 3 months free access to CV Matchly. So this means that you have free access to use CV Matchly to tailor your CV, apply to as many jobs as you want for 3 months. So if I were you, what I'll do is my first 3 months, I'm going to focus on learning the skills, gaining work experience, completing the project like I've explained. And I would use the second 3 months to do what? Start applying to jobs, tailoring my CV, and so on and so forth. So before I even get into my internship, I have gotten that job. Okay. 10 people out of 20 would get free access. So it means when you join, I am one of the 10 people. What do you see? When you go to your dashboard, you are going to see CV Matchly as a feature on your dashboard. So if you don't see CV Matchly, that simply means you are not part of the first 10 people to register. Okay. So first 20 people get 20% off. 10 out of the 20, the first 10 out of that first 20 would get free access to CV Matchly. All right. And of course, you also have some additional guarantees. Like once you enroll, you join us, any updates we have to the curriculum next year, for example, you have free access to that update. So if we introduce something new in the healthcare data analytics program, in the business analysis program, you get free access to that. All right. We know that life happens. Sometimes you don't expect to fall sick. Sometimes you have more work in the office and you really have to take a break. You can't start. You can't continue, for the next 1 week, the next 2 weeks because of increased work, the workload. What do we do for you? We allow you move your cohorts to the next cohort for free. So which means I've started first 2 weeks or first 2 weeks in June, and life happens. Your child falls sick, you fall sick, you have to take care of them. Normally, you'd have to pay a little re-enrollment fee to move to the next cohort, but you get to do that for free. And of course, number three is by the end of week 12, one of the guarantees that we give to you, that's in your third month, you would have at least 3 industry-ready projects in your portfolio. And if you followed everything that we've told you to do, you'd have 3 projects, you'd have completed your CV, completed your LinkedIn optimization, and you start applying to jobs. All right. So when we say people got jobs in 3 months, this is how they get it done. So I'm going to show you how to start for those of you who want to get started. And then I'm going to take questions before we call it a day. So let's say I want to start today. My colleagues would share the link in the chat. Once you click on that link, it's going to take you to this page. If you go to start learning, it takes you to the website, it's analytics website. If you click on view all courses, you'd see all the programs I've highlighted and more. So you'd see more because I did not focus today on coding career path. The career path I focused on are the non-coding. Okay, so let's say I'm interested in healthcare data analytics. It means I want to register for the health tech analyst program. If I want to join the healthcare business and analysis, I can come here, click on that. I want to join data analytics. I come here, click on that. So let's say I want to join data analytics, for example. I click on enroll and I come back here and I click on what? Enroll. Okay. So here I would have to I'd create a profile. Okay. You do that into, 60 seconds. You create a profile. And I'm just going to show you what to do, exactly what you'd see and how you get to register. So I enter an email, I enter my phone number, read the terms and conditions, click on verify, and then sign up. Once you click on sign up, it means you've created an account on the Tenalytics platform. Okay. And you get to see the cohort you can join. You can join the cohort that starts in June. or you can join the cohort that starts in July. And if you're the first 20 and maybe in June you have commitments, you can join the July cohort. All right. So all you need to do, June, you want to start immediately, you click on that. Okay. So I'm going to show you what the discount looks like and how you get to save. You can change your currency. If you want to pay in US dollars, you can use US dollars. If you want to pay in pounds, you can click on that and you see how to pay in pounds. Now, let me show you how this works. If I make a one-time payment, say I don't want to pay in 5 installments, I want to pay once today, you get additional 12% discount, which means instead of paying £957, almost £1,000, I get to pay just £651. I'll save over £306. That's a lot of money. And I get that amazing savings because I made a one-time payment. If I pay in 2 installments, instead of £957, I get to pay just £690. I save a whopping £267. And of course, if I want a flexible payment, I want to pay the lowest possible today to start, and I want to move the other payment to subsequent month, I can choose the most flexible option, which is 5 installments. All right. So I pay £766 instead of 957. So I save almost £200 and I can get started. On the 6th of June, you have your first class. You don't need to pay anything extra. You pay your first installment of £153 and your second payment comes in the month after you've started. Okay, so I click on that. Say I want to pay in 5 installments. I click on that and I go to um, confirm my payments. I've read the terms and conditions. You see the breakdown. Okay, now let's assume your salary doesn't come in on the 23rd, because if you go to the breakdown, you'd see your first payment comes in today, the next would come in on the 23rd of June. You can change this. If your salary comes in on the 26th, for example, you can come to change dates. Okay, click on change dates and select 26th of June. That's when my salary comes, or salary comes on the 27th, or it comes on the 30th. I can click on 30th, click on save. So what this means is when I make my first payment today, the second payment would not come in until the 30th of the next month. All right. So I can always do that. I click on pay now, confirm all my details, click on pay, and that takes me to where I enter my card information. I'm just going to do that very quickly. All right. So you enter your card information, full name, Adeza Suleiman. Select your postcode, select all of that, and you click on pay. So you see how much you are saving, all right, by choosing the 5 installments and taking advantage of the discounts. Click on pay. Once your payment is confirmed, you'd have paid £153 and you get access to complete your onboarding. And I'll show you exactly what that looks like. So once your payment is successful, you'd see that notification, you get an email confirming your payment was successful, and you get redirected to complete your profile. Okay, so tell us a little bit about you, select your country. So I'll select my country, my gender, enter my phone number. Okay, I'm going to verify my phone number. So when you verify your phone number, you're going to receive an OTP. Okay, you receive an OTP. So make sure you enter the correct phone number. Your OTP comes in. If you've entered the wrong number, you can always come back here, change the number, verify your email as well. I click here, verify my email. I go to the email, I wait for my OTP. Immediately the OTP comes in. I can enter that and I get access to the dashboard. So once you enter your OTP after confirming and verifying your email, select your time zone. When do you want your class to start? Okay, I want to join the class for those in the UK. You choose British summertime. Preferred class time 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. British summertime. You choose that. Enter emergency contact in case we need to reach out to anybody. Enter their phone number. How did you find out about us? Oh, I saw you guys on LinkedIn. On Facebook, Google, anywhere, select that and enter your LinkedIn profile, your URL, click on next. Okay, I've not entered anything right here. I'll just enter a random number. Let me see if that will go. Okay, it's not going to go because I entered a random number. So once you complete all of that, what happens? You get access to your dashboard. And that's how you register and that's how you start today. That's how you get started today. Okay. So that's pretty much what you need to get started. And like I said, just like Ikmat, just like everybody that started their journey, they started from there. You have so many professionals doing amazingly well. And I'm going to show you how you can also get access to numerous other professionals. And when you join, you'd see welcome, welcome back, and you'd see your access to CV Matchly if you are one of the first 10. All right. About four people now have taken advantage. So we have four, and I have just 6 slots left for CV Matchly, and I have 16 slots left for the 20% off. If you go on YouTube and you search for Tenalytics on YouTube, okay, so you go on YouTube, search for Tenalytics. So I'm going to show you. Once you go on YouTube and you type Tenalytics, it takes you to the Tenalytics YouTube page. Click on the logo, make sure you're subscribed so you get all the new videos, information. Once you go there, look for the alumni job success stories. Click on that. It's going to take you to numerous professionals that have done exactly what you're trying to do. Okay. Amaka she was out of work in Canada for over 6 months. Today, Amaka is a HR data analyst with Sask Energy in Saskatchewan, Canada. Mr. Ade was, or currently is over 60. He's over 60 years old, joined business analysis. Today, he's a business analyst with the HMRC. He moved from the civil service, he moved to HMRC, currently works with the HMRC today as a business analyst. So you can watch and listen to other professionals like you that have done exactly what you're trying to do. Okay. So I'm going to take questions. I'll take a pause right now and I'll take questions before we call it a day. I have 5 payments coming now. So 5 people have access to CV Matchly and I have 15 slots left for the 20% off. So let me take questions while we get more payments in. So Sam is asking, is web development a high demand career? Absolutely it is. And it's also a career path that gives you visa sponsorship. So let's check. Okay. Let's verify. But I know, yeah. So you are going to categorize them under software development professionals, 2134. So you have your computer game designers, computer programmers, software developers and programmers, and software development professionals, not elsewhere classified. All right. It's a great career path. But what I always advise, rather than just being a web developer, you want to add something more. So you have to be a full stack web developer, not just a conventional web developer, full stack. All right. So front end, back end, and that's what you want to do. Not just building platforms using low code tools or low code tools. You want to have a full stack background in web development. But is it in high demand? Yes, it is. UI UX is product design, Sam. UI UX is product design. And I think I talked about that already. So you don't call them UI UX designers anymore. That's an old, nomenclature. They're called product designers. Okay. So product designers 2141. Okay. 2141. So if we go to the same gov.uk website and go to 2141, web design professionals, which is where you actually fall under Sam. So not software development, but web development. And you'd also see UI UX designers. These are your designers, product designers. So as a product designer, you are a little bit more than just a UI UX designer. You do a little bit more than that. You have some project management skills embedded to what you do. So when you compete with other professionals, you compete with them on a level a little bit above just what the UI UX designer would do. Okay. So if I take you back to the job description and the key learning areas for the product designer, you'd see where you get to learn UX foundation and research, user experience. Okay. Okay. You also get to do your, user interfaces design and all of that. So UI UX, and you do a little bit more than that, usability testing, portfolio and AI for product design. So you are building and presenting design portfolios. You are conducting usability tests and iterations and so on and so forth. So you are not just a UI UX designer. You are more than that. And that's what you want to do and where you want to be. All right. So I'm going to take more questions. Can I pay in Naira, Sam? Absolutely, you can. So if you go to follow through the same process, you can toggle the currency from dollars to euros to pounds to naira to Canadian dollars. You can do that, and it would give you the equivalent in naira. Okay. Tony is asking, good evening, Adeza. Hope you're good. Please, I need encouragement. I was working in a bank in Nigeria as a direct sales agent. However, I came to the UK, applied to a lot of customer service and sales rep job, but I didn't get it. People even discouraged me that I can't get a tech inclined job here that is strictly for their people. I just want to know how Tenalytics can change this narrative. I work as a healthcare assistant. How do I transition to PM or health informatics? Secondly, are these fields not saturated? Thirdly, can I work as a PM if I registered? Now, I want to address your challenge, Tony, personally. You are still on the call. Fantastic. Now, when I left Nigeria and I moved to the UK, you might not know the co-founder of Tenalytics, but his name is Efemena. Efemena Ipro had left Nigeria. And I'm telling this story because it's very important to people that would learn and would gain from this. Okay? The people you interact with, the first set of people you meet when you move abroad can change your career journey forever. And I saw it happen first time. I saw it happen live. Okay. So I was back in Nigeria. Ifemena had left Nigeria. He had moved to Ireland before moving to the UK. So he went to Ireland, stayed in Ireland for about 2 years, and moved to the UK. Ifemena and I learned data analytics together in Nigeria. So when we learned Excel, I'd make mistakes. He corrects me and says, "Hey, this is what I know how to do." He tells me what to do. He has issues with SQL, SQL. I tell him that, "Oh, this is how to get it done. This is the mistake you're making," and so on. So we learned together. So I knew the exact set of skills Efemena had, and I knew the exact set of skills that I had. I was still living in Nigeria at that time. I was working with Sahara Power Group as a management information systems analyst. And the Femena encouraged me to leave Nigeria and move to the UK. Initially, I didn't want to because I felt I was making a lot of money in Nigeria. Okay. I was in the energy space, oil and gas, power sector. I thought I was making a lot of money. And the Femena said, "Hey, one day he said he would love to see my pay slip." And I sent it to him. And he said, "Look, if I come to the UK, what I was earning in a month, I could earn it in a week." And I think that was what changed the story for me. And I decided on that day, I called my wife. I was still in the office and I called my wife that we are moving to the UK. And I left and I moved to the UK. I got my first job in the UK 1 month after moving to the UK. Do you know why, Tony? I was able to land a job a month after moving to the UK. I had somebody who is a Femena, who had gotten a job already in the UK. I knew the exact set of skills he had. And because I saw someone like me that had gotten that job, a lot of people were saying it's impossible to get the job. Oh, you cannot get the job because you are black. You need to change your name on your CV. If you use your Nigerian name, you are never going to get a job, blah, blah, blah. They said a lot of things. I got a job a month when I moved to the UK because I knew the type of CV to use. I knew exactly what to do because I had somebody who had done it. So when you find yourself among people that'll tell you that you can't get the job, you can't make a headway. Those kind of jobs are only for the British, they're only for those with ILR and so on and so forth. You would always find yourself in that position. You'd always do the care jobs, you'd always do the support work, you'd always work in the warehouse. There were so many people I saw doing that. They did amazing work back in Nigeria, and they were working in the warehouse when they did not want to work in the warehouse. So the set of people you move with, you hang out with in the first few months you move to a new country can make or break your career journey. So you have to be very careful. Okay. So all the people I've shared with you, they're people like you. They had no experience back home in Nigeria. They moved to the UK, they moved to Canada, they moved to the US, but they did not settle for the menial jobs. Sometimes you have to do those menial jobs. If Emena, for example, the co-founder, he worked in the warehouse at a point when he was doing his master's in Ireland, but he didn't settle for that. In the same company where he worked in the warehouse, I'll show you the name of the company. Okay, the company is in Ireland, DPD. If you're anywhere in Europe, even in the UK, you would know DPD. Okay, DPD Ireland. DPD Ireland is like your um DPD Ireland is like your UPS, DPD Ireland is like your FedEx, and so on. If Emena worked with DPD, they deliver parcels, and he worked in the warehouse, stacking parcels, offloading trucks, and all of that. But he didn't want to stay there. In the same DPD, Ireland, where he worked as a warehouse operative. He got his first job as a BI developer, business intelligence developer. Okay. And for those of you thinking or wondering who Efemena is, I'm going to show you Efemena's profile very quickly. All right. So it's very important who you move with, okay, and who you listen to when you move to a new country. So the way to get into project management is everything I've explained to you, Tony. Okay, so I'm going to show you a Femina. Of course, he's not going to put warehouse on his LinkedIn profile, okay? But when you go to his profile, he worked in DPD. This is a Femina right here. Co-founder Amdari, co-founder 10 Analytics. Let's go. I hope yeah, DPD Ireland. All right. So, he listed it here as a logistic operations analyst. You see this logistic operations analyst, it's just a fancy way, it's packaging. Efemena was a warehouse operative. He left the warehouse operations, working as a warehouse operative, to a business intelligence developer in the same company. All right. So don't let anybody tell you can't do it. The other people that got jobs, how did they get it? I'm sure you know one or two people that are like you. They moved from Nigeria and they've gotten jobs. So the question you need to ask yourself is, how did they get it? And I've given you the blueprint already. Project management is a high demand career path. What you need to do now is learn the skills, work in a project based environment. You work on projects, you learn in a project based environment, you build a portfolio, gain work experience, have your CV reviewed, optimized, your LinkedIn reviewed, optimized. All the things I've said, when you have an interview, you have somebody who is a project manager that has done the job you are trying to get, and they prep you for that interview. That's how you get the job. Okay. So don't let anybody tell you can't do it. You can. Tony, and that's exactly what you need to do. So I just gave you a very long story of how the people you meet when you move to a new country can make a massive difference in your career journey, essentially. Okay. So I hope you register, Tony, and I hope to work with you to help you move from where you are at the moment as a healthcare assistant to a project manager. All the success stories you see, they got there because they took that step to get started. So I look forward to working with you, Tony. All right. Let me see if I have more questions. So you can stop recording, whoever is recording, so that we don't have our video too long. So I'll take more time to answer questions before we wrap up our session today. Let me see more questions, more questions. Nachi is asking, it's unfortunate